This is Maestro Drake, and all I can say is, Híjole, the things that happen around the world. I just think it back to Hosni Mubarak, but anyway. Is this good or bad? Probably good. I shall be taking over, and my first act for president will be to allow for curse words to be in movies, and all furries shall be put on an island. So we'll have a furry society on a deserted island. We are getting to the last leg of this. I might do sort of an Animal House, whatever happened to everybody. Just to recap all the Legacy of Phantom Menace elements here. But what I'll do here is we'll go through the simultaneous scenarios one by one by one. So we'll start off with flashing the lights. Oh yeah, the whole find a safe place and stay there. Now this is all like a real place that George built. He built a real feed feed plaza. So shall we say? This is probably the least memorable part of the whole thing. So this is like I kind of see I kind of see the hangar bay as the sort of center point of where everything happens. So you look beyond there, that's the fields. That's where the Gungans will fight. Darth Maul's coming up. Uh, Padme still has to take back the palace. And of course, we've got the N1 starfighters that are ready to go out into outer space to go and take out the control ship. So if this is the center point, this is where all the lines intersect, but they're all going to diverge and go off their separate ways. Everybody's getting ready. Doug Chang did all this stuff. Now this is where the diversion happens. This is all manipulation, of course. Well, kind of when Darth Vader shuts the door on Princess Leia when she's about to get stabbed with the syringe. Yeah, the interrogator droid from episode 4 anyway. Here we go. We're starting with the battle. But no Chihuahua, no Colonel Sanders, and no Pizza Hut girl. This is just the Gungans. I kind of like this. This was like, I mean, the ground battle for Geonosis was better, but here we got a little bit of what we could expect to see more. Larger scope of battles. I remember this being the menu where you could choose from the 12 chapters on your DVD player, but yeah, these droids come out. And there's the space battle and Anakin. Oh, they're coming to life. That's a weird shot of Jar Jar. So yeah, it's a whole mess. It's trying to keep track. I think it was like somebody had said, I don't know if it was Dennis Murin or John Knoll, but somebody said like you have to keep track of what was happening with the fish in the background when they were talking to Boss Nass. You have to kind of keep track of what every Gungan is doing and what every droid is doing. So the Jar Jar is bouncing around. This is a unique shot I think I've seen right now, just for Jar Jar. Just off to the side. What is it my animation teacher once said? Every frame is a work of art. No, nothing wasted. Yeah, it's one of those. Somehow he wins the fight. It's one of those things. If you know your movies and you have to know your movies, that's what happens. Yeah, I don't know. It's not as polished as it once was. You can kind of see through it. The 4K is not friendly to this movie. Oh, time to run. This is where it all looks hopeless. They get captured. Of course they did. As Dave Filoni said, it's a numbers game, so if there's more droids than there are Gungans. Ah, they shut down. But how did they shut down? It's all because of Anakin. So he stayed in the cockpit. He did what he was told, but now they got to go off. No Death Star, but a Trade Federation ship. They had that sort of World War I flying ace, sort of Snoopy kind of pilot look. I've always hated these droids in Lego Star Wars and the Jedi power battles. Nope, off they go. I kind of like these more than the X-Wings a little bit. It's got a very 90s look. So they gotta destroy this shit. Yeah, so one by one, it's gonna happen faster and more intense. Because it's not about this battle, it's about all the events happening at the same time. Yeah, they gotta perfectly go in there. Well, you destroyed it. You gotta figure nothing can get through the shields. How? I mean, you could still put a ship in the damn corridor, so the shields didn't block that, did they? Yeah, great stuff. Just like the Death Star 2 blowing up. Get out of there. And here's Frankenstein. I mean, Darth Maul versus Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon. And I guess if it were able to be faster and more intense for Return of the Jedi, it would have been Darth Vader and Luke versus the Emperor. But such as the things you can't do. I like these moves Ray Park could do. Yeah, I like these close-up shots. Very good stuff. These kind of still hold up. I remember the part where Nick Gillard had Ewan McGregor on a plank, so he would have a way to just spring up there. That's how he did it. So Nick Gillard, the stunt guy, the sword guy, he would just have him on a plank, standing by. Yeah, this is all a waiting game for Obi-Wan. So he has to be separated, so all this bullshit happens later on. I think the idea was that Darth Maul was looking at Anakin when he defeated the Trade Federation ship, but it's really just cutting to the next scene. But yeah, he's waiting. It's very important for him to watch this fight because it didn't go well. Yeah, he does that trick. That's why Obi-Wan could see right through that. And just like he defeated him on Tatooine. Oh, don't worry, you're next. Give it a couple more episodes. Oh, yeah, this is harsh. George Lucas took it to the nth level to what he wanted to do. He couldn't do this in the original trilogy with Mark Hamill and Darth Vader or the guy who does stunt, Bob Anderson. Certainly not David Prowse, because David Prowse couldn't move that. He was a big, bulky man. He couldn't move that fast. I like this part. Dead is not dead, but whatever. I mean, people were utterly confused later on. This is my first time seeing this scene with the new digital Yoda. It's just kind of weird for me. Yeah, the digital Yoda. I like digital Yoda, but it just seems weird to put him back here in Phantom Menace. So yeah, that's all it is trying. I mean, now it's a different spot where there's going to be tension, I'm sure there would have been tension between Qui-Gon and Anakin because he had so much anger, and I don't think Qui-Gon truly understood that. George Lucas wouldn't want there to be definite proof that Plagueis created Anakin, but if you read the book, Hugo Damask and Qui-Gon did not like each other, and they had different paths. What is it? Qui-Gon said two different paths to get to the same point. I'm sorry, that doesn't sound like it doesn't seem to make sense to me. So his thing was about crossing over to the great beyond, but still retain the Force, whereas Plagueis believed in literal immortality. So I do think there would have been tension. There would have been problems. There was a scene where Anakin fights Greedo. So there was the issue of putting your anger in the right place, but that scene got taken out because you did have 10-year-old Greedo, but it was like it wasn't necessary to establish that. You wanted to establish the tension of him later on. Yeah, I think there just would have been a different thing. Anakin would have been he would have been resistant against Palpatine, whatever Palpatine wanted. So here we have the funeral pyre, which is much like when Luke burned Vader. Very similar to Return of the Jedi. These are like bookends, these movies. So this is the beginning of a very problematic friendship, I think I would call it.
There are no more, no less.
Hmm.
A master and an apprentice. But which was it? The master or the apprentice?
I would think both of them. Both got killed, though you wouldn't know that till later on. So this is the parade. I mean, it's full of. Now, before this, we see Palpatine talk to Anakin a little bit, but not much happens, of course. So he's ready in his, his Padawan look. Ah, I recognize this, Jedi. Even Peel, or whatever his name is. Yeah, Jedi, we are too good. Yep. Much like Han Solo and when Leia look at each other, this is the celebration, the medal giving ceremony. I forgot to mention Trisha Biggar was the one who helped decorate, put all the costumes together. I'm not sure she's still working, but yeah, Trisha Biggar. Ben Bird did the sound. There she is, Trisha Biggar. And then there's Dennis Muren, Robin Gurlens, the casting director, got Hayden Christensen, Johnny Williams. So all these credits come up. So what I'll do is let's do a little like epilogue here. So much like Animal House, where you find out what happened to everybody, we're going to do a little recap of all the elements of the characters of the legacy of Phantom Menace. Beverly Hills. Oh, there you go. So, you had Obi-Wan Kenobi series, which was not that good. Really wasn't. I mean, I tried to like it. Now, of course, Qui-Gon showed up as a ghost of some kind when they went to Mortis. But more importantly, look who shows up for the fiesta. So, of course, he shows up as a ghost, which doesn't make sense because when he appeared before Yoda, he appeared as a bunch of sparkly Christmas lights. So now he's a Force ghost, which makes as much sense as the last three. What is it? The last trilogy. Of course, he shows up. It would have been nice if it was Darth Plagueis and not, but that's for Revitalized. But yeah, there you go. The last time Palpatine was there. Rise of Skywalker. Oh yeah, so they're doing a whole Lego Star Wars thing. Then there's Darth Jar Jar. Oh, I think that's Ahmed Best. Last time we saw Newt Gunray, he was in the Clone Wars. The Clone Wars cartoons, I don't remember seeing the Neimoidians anywhere else, but definitely here. And the last time Natalie Portman put on the Naboo Queen makeup was the SNL rap too. God, this looks like cringe. I don't think it actually works. Oh shit. What the fuck? I don't know, it's a little bit cringe when she does this. Of course, who had to show up in the Solo movie? But good old Maul. Yeah, and this is Sam Witwer doing the voice this time. I heard people were utterly confused when they saw this. They said, I thought he died. But nobody watched the cartoons. The kids watched the cartoons, and when they got older, by the time they got to this movie, they understood it. But none of this matters because he dies anyway. Well, that is it. We've reached the end. And what a ride this has been. 25 years, 25 more? I don't know. But next year we got the 20th anniversary of Revenge of the Sith and the 45th anniversary of The Empire Strikes Back. Or will we wait for the 50 years? I don't know. Anniversaries are as big as people want to make them. Remember when Kirby turned, 30 years old? And they made a big stink of that? Well, they didn't make a big stink of his 25th anniversary, did they now? So there you go. Until next time, may the Force be with you or not. Doesn't matter to me. On to better things. We got a new week.